What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing today? Welcome back to another Top 5. Today, we're going over the Top 5 2021 Young Guns I think have a chance to go up in value next season. If you haven't checked out the other videos in this series, make sure you check those out as well. If you guys are brand new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We'll be having more lists coming out on this topic in the future. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Really helps me grow the channel. Comment down below your top 5. My list isn't the right list. I want to see your guys' top 5s down in the comments below, so make sure you comment your lists. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well at ARC Sports Cards. As per usual, please do not take this as financial advice. Please invest in sport cards at your own risk, and all prices will be in US dollars for PSA 10 Young Guns. Graphs are courtesy of Sport Card Investor, as per usual. Not a sponsor or anything. Without further ado, let's get into number 5. Kicking us off with number 5 is actually the player I probably think is the best overall player in this class. Maybe an argument can be made, but in my opinion, Jason Robertson is the best goal scorer here in the 2021 Young Gun class, and I think his Young Guns has a chance to go up next season if he can reach that 50 goal mark. Now, the main reason Jason Robertson's not higher on this list is because of that Dallas Stars market. That does hurt him quite a bit. He's a really productive player. Looking at his stats from last year, you can see Jason Robertson did take a step back, but I think he's capable of getting back to that 40 goal mark and pushing 50. I think Jason Robertson at some point in his career is going to score 50 goals. Why not next year? Dallas has one of the best young teams in the NHL. I think a 50 goal season from Jason Robertson isn't out of the realm of possibilities. I think it's a real possibility. Like, for example, if Robertson were to go on and have a 50 goal season, a season like Sam Reinhart did last year, I think his Young Guns would definitely go up in that case. If he stays around the 40 goal range or below, I don't think his Young Guns moves too much at all, just because of that Dallas Stars market will hurt him so much. According to the daily face-off line projections, Jason Robertson's currently projected to play on the top line with Rupe Hintz and Wyatt Johnson, and if they were to stack the top line like that, I think that would be absolute best case scenario for Jason Robertson, getting the most exposure as possible. Of course, Jason Robertson, the main goal scorer in this team, so I'm not really worried about deployment with Robertson. My only worry would be he had foot surgery recently, but they do say he's supposed to be ready for the start of the season, but he's missing most of camp, so that is a little bit of a worry, but as they say he's going to be ready for the start of the year, and that's all I'm concerned about. Take a look at his Young Gun graph, and you can see one sold recently for as high as 149 US. I think that's fair, but I do think a guy that scores as many goals as consistently as Jason Robertson, now last year he did take a step back, so I understand why it is lower. I think his Young Guns does have a good chance to go up next season. It's just, can he reach 50 goals? Can he really go on like a deep playoff run, and can he get some exposure in a rough Dallas market? Up next at number 4 is going to be a guy that I would say, out of all the lists, this guy probably has the lowest floor and one of the higher ceilings, I would say, is Joseph Woll of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, Joseph Woll, his Young Guns, depending on his own performance, will either absolutely tank, in my opinion, or they'll absolutely skyrocket. If Joseph Woll comes out and he's an absolute stud, he's a star goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think his Young Guns will go up pretty good. But if he stinks, if he's not good, if he struggles, I think these Young Guns will tank pretty quickly. I've said it in the past, but I'll say it here again. Goaltender Young Guns and goaltender cards in general in hockey don't really go up depending on their personal stats. It's more based around team success. Like, for example, you look at goaltenders like UC Saros and Connor Hellebuyck. Their Young Guns just aren't really worth that much. Like Ilya Sorokin, I consider one of the best goalies in the league. It's not worth that much because they haven't really had team success. While you look at a guy like Andrei Vasilevsky, who has multiple Stanley Cups, his Young Guns are worth a little bit because he's more of an established superstar and a champion. Joseph Woll really needs to rely on Toronto Maple Leafs success for his cards to go up, in my opinion, and he also needs to be the main starter. Now, he doesn't have a ton of competition, which is lucky for him. Now, looking at the Leafs goaltending situation, Joseph Woll is obviously going to be the starter opening night, at least it looks like that. Anthony Stolarz will probably be backing up. They do have Matt Murray in the system, but I just think Matt Murray at this point in his career is just washed. I don't really see him being involved in this, so it is Joseph Woll's net to lose at the start of the season. With that knowledge that Joseph Woll is going to be the starter, you can see his Young Guns going for 104 US. That's pretty high for a goaltender that has accomplished not a whole lot. It's the Leaf hype. It's people buying in early, hoping that he's going to do well next season. But if he struggles, I'm telling you guys, I think this card will go down quickly. Up next at number 3 is 2024-2025 going to be the year of the Alexis Lafreniere breakout? I think it's a real possibility. He's showing steady growth over his first couple of years in the NHL. Now, obviously, being a first overall pick, there's a lot of pressure on you early at the gate. But look at a guy like Sam Reinhart, for example. He didn't get to that level for like 12 years or however long it was, and he was a second overall pick. It can take some time, and you're seeing the growth with Lafreniere. He's steadily getting better, and I think the Rangers are ready to give him the best deployment they can and really make him a big offensive weapon in their offense. Now, what makes me most hopeful for Alexis Lafreniere's Young Guns heading into the next season is that incredible playoff performance. He had 14 points in 16 games, and it seems like Lafreniere, he brings his A game when the games are bigger. Like, he plays a lot better in the playoffs, and I think that's really good when it comes to hockey cards, because that's when most people are watching the cards when there's playoffs going on, and we've seen steady growth out throughout his career. 21 points, 31, 39, last year 57, hit career high. Will he see it? We see him reach like 70 or a point per game? I don't think that's out of the question next season. Take a look at the lines. Lafreniere is currently projected to play on the top line with Vincent Trocheck and Artemi Panarin. That's what you want to see. But my main concern with Lafreniere's deployment for next season wouldn't be his role in the top six. I think he's got a top six role pretty much locked down. It'd be his role on the power play. I don't think he currently has a role on their top power play unit. I think those roles belong to Kreider, Zibanejad, Trocheck, Panarin, and Fox. I don't know which of those four he'd really replace. I mean, he also has to compete with Riley Smith. Now, I do think he's ahead of Riley Smith in the food chain sort of thing. So I think if, like, for example, a guy like Zibanejad went down, I think Lafreniere is more likely to replace him than a guy like Riley Smith. But you never know. It depends where they're playing on the power play and things. Let's just hope that he does get that top power play deployment. Take a look at his graph here. You can see it's kind of all over the place. One recently sold for around 159 US. That sounds about right because people are projecting that he has a breakout season, like I'm saying here. I think best case scenario, absolute best case scenario next season is Lafreniere reaches like around a point per game. He's an 82 point kind of guy, and I think if that happens, his Young Guns will go up a bit, and then maybe next year we see a big breakout. Maybe he can hit that 100 points next season. I don't think 100 points is possible this year. I guess you never know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I like Lafreniere. Next at number 2 is going to be a guy I actually talked about in my last video. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. On the top 5 trending Young Guns for the month of September 2024, it's Kanne Capriso of the Minnesota Wild. Now, the reason his Young Gun is trending is because, like me, people think that his Young Guns is going to go up this season because people think the Wild are going to bounce back and Kaprizov's going to play like we know Kaprizov can, reach 100 points, be a superstar in this league, and his Young Guns should go up as a result. I won't talk too much in depth about Kaprizov in this video since I did just go in and talk about him a lot in the last video, so make sure you check that out if you want to hear more. 96 points in 75 games last year. Of course, he did have those early season troubles where he's injured and stuff. We'll see if a fully healthy Kaprizov can reach the 100-point mark yet again and see if the Wild can get back in the playoffs and make a deep run. Looking at the lines with the Wild, Kaprizov's obviously their guy. He's their franchise forward. Unlike a guy like Lafreniere, you're not worried about deployment with Kaprizov. He's going to get the top opportunity at night in and night out on this Wild team. And actually, taking a look at his graph here, he's actually started to trend down a bit since I made that trending video. You can see one recently sold for around 130 US. I don't think Kaprizov's a horrible buy because I do think if the Wild were to go on a playoff run, he would be the main focus. His cards would go up in value. My main concern with Kaprizov is if the Wild don't make the playoffs, then I don't think his card moves much at all. But there's no denying that Kaprizov's one of the best scorers in the NHL. He's one of the best point producers. It's just what will the Wild do next season, how deep they'll go in the playoffs, and how many points will Kaprizov score. Up next at number 1, you guys may be able to guess it. I am not personally the biggest fan of Tim Stutz, but I cannot deny he probably has the best chance to go up in value next season because he's kind of due for an offensive explosion, and this Ottawa Senators team is due to make the playoffs. They got a really young team. If they can just put it all together and finally make the playoffs, I think Tim Stutz will be at the heart of it, the heart of this offense, him and Brady Tkachuk, and I think his Young Guns has a good chance to grow. I think the absolute ceiling for Tim Stutz the next season would be 100 points, and that would definitely result in an increase in his Young Guns, I would think at least, especially if Ottawa made the playoffs. But if they don't make the playoffs and Stutz still gets 100 points, I still think this card grows, unlike some of the other cards on this list. Like if Kaprizov hits 100 points, I don't know if people care if the Wild don't have that success. But if Stutz hits 100 points, I'm pretty sure his Young Guns will go up. Similar to Kaprizov, you do not need to worry about deployment with Tim Stutz. You just need to worry about him staying healthy. He'll be top line, top power play. No need to worry with his deployment. Take a look at his graph here. You can see one recently sold for 108 US, and his Young Guns is currently trending upwards. I think people are expecting a big jump from Stutz next season, and that's why his Young Guns is trending. I do think that 108 is kind of lower than I thought it'd be, considering he plays in a pretty good market in the Ottawa Senators. But yeah, overall, I like Stutz in the next season. I think he has the best chance in this class to gain value next season. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. We'll have another list coming out very shortly on the same topic, so make sure you subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care. Have a good one.